Well, the winning streak ends abruptly at 3 games as a very strong Minnesota Wild team comes into Edmonton, takes care of business against the Oilers. 7-3 is your final, and we'll break it all down right here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola with you inside the EST Satellite Studios in beautiful downtown Edmonton, just outside of Ice District. You got Zachary Kubish producing this show on location at the Shamrock Curling Club, where we had our fun spiel. And if you didn't see the social media posts, it was a great time. A big thank you to Gavin and Angela Morton. Absolutely tremendous. Them and the rest of the staff at the Shamrock hosting us for a third time. Matthew Iwanek, job well done, sir. Everybody involved had a great time. Congratulations to all the winners and participants at the EST Fun Spiel. Of course, this fine program brought to you by GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around. From turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors, they are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. We want to hear from you. Join the conversation. Text us 780-218-9999. Hop into the nasty chat if you're watching over on YouTube. I'm sure people have a lot to say. I was checking in periodically from the rink on the text line, and people were pissed off, and I understand. But bottom line, at least to me, is that the Minnesota Wild are on another level compared to the Edmonton Oilers, and you're looking at that game tonight as a litmus test for the Oil. Where are they? Are they a true contender yet? Do they need, obviously, upgrades? I think the answer is abundantly clear. Yes. Is there questions in goal after tonight? I saw some texts about Tristan Jarry. Perhaps. I maintain, at least to me, there's a lot of problems with this defense, and they could use another strong defender to help bolster it. And yes, you do want to save or two from your goaltender, and we'll dive into all of that with our game analyst, Matt Kassian, when he joins us from his satellite studio. Let's bring in the Coob and see if he's good to go from the Shamrock. Coob, you there? How you doing?
I'm here.
It's dark.
It might be dark. I mean, I'm not a television guy. I graduated from radio at NAIT, but I have the one light set up here, and you know, the lights are off behind us. The games are wrapped up, and I'm happy to say that my team came out a champion of Pool C, but not the champion of the Fun Spiel. Maddie and Trev also subbed in. Jasmine was on the team, Dylan Koskin and Cameron as well. So it was a good time here. Big Uke and many others are still around, and it's a complete full establishment here at the Shamrock. Here I got the trophy, so it's amazing. Pool C. Drank a non-alcoholic Sapporo out of this, so it was a good time, and had a good celebration after the fact.
I was going to ask you how many alcoholic beverages you had, because my shot's a little bit skewed here, so I'll let you tweak that. But good job, buddy, and thanks for stepping up today, filling in for Benny on the post-game show. Young Benny Thompson is celebrating his birthday. We wish him a happy birthday. All right, we'll check in with Coob a little bit more as we go through the night. Having a good time. Sounds like it's still rocking over at the Shamrock. All right, let's dive into a few texts. The Oilers did get the opening goal. The Oilers did get a second lead after Minnesota tied it, and then it was all wild after that. Sure, the Oilers scored a goal in garbage time. I thought there were some good elements from tonight from an Oilers point of view. I thought the third line with Roslovic, Savoy, and Szymanski had some good moments. Scary moment with Leon Draisaitl, right hand. Looked like he went for a tumble behind the goalie and went into the end boards hard. You could see him working with TD Force, holding his palm, kind of testing out his fingers. They did the squeeze test. He went to the room for a bit and did come back and play the rest of the game. So that was a bit of a scare. And what else from tonight? I think, the Oilers got caught flat-footed on some plays defensively on the blue line. I think of the Eriksson Ek goal where he got sprung. He kind of snuck in behind Evan Bouchard. And I think Bouchard realized it too late that Eriksson Ek had been behind him. That was on a penalty kill for the Oilers. So the PK needed a bit of work. It went 1 for 3 on the night. The power play 0 for 2. And at the end of the day, I seriously just think that was a demonstration of how far ahead a team like Minnesota, a true contender as of right now, elite team, if you will, in the NHL is compared to the Edmonton Oilers. It doesn't mean the team can't improve. It doesn't mean Stan Bowman can't add to his team. It doesn't mean that defensively they can evolve in a positive way. There's still a lot of hockey to be played, and that kind of thing does happen, but not always. But it just shows, as of right now, Minnesota's on a different level than the Edmonton Oilers. All right, let's dive into the inbox. 780-218-99-98-9. Get to the nasty chat as well. Let's go to this one. It says, another year, another Minnesota humbling of Edmonton. A 20-year tradition continues. At least Vegas also lost. The idea of them going 27-0 to finish the season was always a fantasy. JB texting us, says, the Oilers have really given the fans at Rogers the old William Nylander so far this season. In 8 games out of 28 so far at home, they have allowed at least 5 goals, leading to a 2-6 record. So I guess the bright side is they can still score. Only Toronto and Vancouver have allowed more goals at home. The Oilers have the second worst goals against per game with a 3.53 at home, just taking big dumps on the ice for the Edmonton faithful. Third most revenue, and that is the entertainment. JB, P.S. Tommy, isn't it ironic that it only costs Kulak and cap space to learn maybe the defense isn't that good? JB, yep, I know. I'll say this, JB. People are seeing it now. People are seeing it. It wasn't as simple as just the goalies being the issue. People are seeing it. They recognize it, and now they're voicing some concern. There was a noticeable applause for Connor Ingram going in. I think he's a bit of a people's champ right now. He's earned that. And I noticed that when the pull for Jarry happened, I mean, it did. Ingram, I mean, tough situation, so you can't really evaluate him. But what do we think of Jarry? So I want to hear people's thoughts on that. 780-218-9999. Let's go to Sean texting in. Says, it seems like as of right now, the Stanley Cup champion is coming out of the Central Division. Sean, that Central Division is a menace. An absolute menace. Was looking at the standings going into the action tonight, and you look at the Central, you've got the Avs, 81 points, first overall in the NHL. You got the Stars, as of right now, is 73 points. That is second best in the NHL. Mini has another win. That's 72. I think they're up to 74 now. These standings haven't been updated just yet. But out of the top 5 teams, most of them are coming out of the Central Division. Yeah, updated now. Mini leapfrogs the Stars at 74. The Stars at 73. And then, like it's the Central, 3 of the top 5 teams in the NHL. And I'm looking over at the Eastern Conference. Tampa's up there and Carolina's up there. And then I suppose the surprise team right in the mix is the Detroit Red Wings at 70 points. But like Sean was alluding to, that Central Division, especially those top 3 teams, absolute wagons as of right now. Now, you got to get it done in the playoffs. We all know that the regular season is one thing. The postseason can be a different animal in itself. But as of right now, if you're evaluating things looking ahead to the postseason, you're going, yep, that Central Division is going to be absolutely bonkers, especially in the postseason. You hope if you're in the Pacific and maybe you finish first, the Oilers have a chance to, certainly. You hope that the Central Division teams just beat the living snot out of one another. So, Sean, good point. I'm with you on that one, brother. Appreciate the text. Let's go to Stupid Peter. It says, Jarry was bad tonight. Frankly, hasn't been very good since coming here, but this is a much bigger than goalie issue here. The Oilers as a team just don't defend very well. They leak high danger chances consistently. I can't tell if it's a coaching problem or just the players not doing their jobs, but either way, it's a mess. Stupid Peter, that is not a stupid text. That is quite intelligent. Your name is a bit tricky because you aren't stupid or dumb or any of those terms. The Oilers' woes defensively, I think people, like I said earlier, are starting to be shown. They switched out both goalies, and you still see them having issues. And if you look at the Oilers defensively, and I'm not just saying it's the blue liners, I really emphasize defending as a 5-man unit has been an issue. We see guys cheat for offense. Yes, McDavid does it. Yes, Draisaitl does it. Other guys do it as well. We see them make bad plays defensively, forward unit, blue liners, both. It's defending as a 5-man unit. But then if you hone in on the defense, you look at these guys. Well, what do you have? You've got an aging Matthias Ekholm. You have an elite offensive weapon in Evan Bouchard, but the defensive side of his game, although sometimes adequate or better, is spotty overall and has been year to year to year. Now he gets better as the season progresses. He's done that for 3 or 4 years, but it's still spotty. Okay, so there's your top pairing. Not ideal. You go to Darnell Nurse. Flip a coin. That's what you get that night. You never know. Jake Wallman. Offensive skills, good first pass. Is he the best defensively? No. And then you got a couple of young guys in Spencer Stastny and Ty Emberson, who's quietly grown a bit. And you go, okay, there's some promise there. Third pairing guy, Spencer Stastny, young guy, approaching 100 NHL games. Can't really put too much of a burden on him. He's learning still. He's evolving as a defenseman in the league, trying to find that consistency, trying to elevate his game. And then your 7th guy is Alec Regula, who's played 50 some odd games, has struggled as the season's progressed. There's issues on the back end, on top of the fact that sometimes the forwards don't help out. So stupid Peter, not a stupid text at all. And people really starting to catch on that, yes, indeed, it's more than just the goaltenders not making the save. Skinner, Pickard, Jarry, Ingram, whatever. I think people are starting to realize that. And that's good. That's good. That's good that they're seeing it. We'll see where this goes. All right. Keep those texts coming in. 780-218-9999. Hop into the nasty chat. Matt Kassian, our game analyst, is ready to go. Cass, give me a thumbs up. Or do you need it? Yeah, he's ready to go. Let's bring in our game analyst, Matt Kassian. Cass, I've read a bunch of texts so far. I've seen, nasty chat's it's been humming, people not happy about the result. I outlined that I think tonight was a good example as the Wild swept the Oilers this season in the 3 games that they've played. They truly are on another level than the Oilers are right now. Not to say the Oilers can't get back there or elevate their level. Maybe they get some help from Stan Bowman and Jeff Jackson, and maybe they just grow internally. That can happen as well. But the other theme that we're seeing from texters is that, hey, guess what, Cass? Maybe it isn't the goaltending. Maybe there's more to it than that.
Weird how that happens. There clearly is more to it, as there has been defensively at various times this year. First period was pretty good. Defensively, I thought they looked all right. Thought they looked solid 5-on-5. And then in the second period, it just fell apart in front of their own net. Like, how many chances were you giving up? Every shift almost, it seemed like. It seemed like the fourth line really was the only one that was able to generate outside of their zone and not even necessarily generate offense, but wasn't just giving up glorious chances against. No, it's not goaltending. Now, Jarry, I don't think was great tonight. He wasn't very good tonight. Also didn't get much help tonight.
No.
And to hearken back to all the people that would rip me to shreds for just call a spade with Stuart Skinner and he's the worst in the world. Yeah, well, I'll try to call a spade a spade. I don't think Jarry was very good tonight. But hearken back to the Skinner's time as well. I'm also going to say it wasn't all his fault. And it wasn't all Jarry's fault either. It wasn't all Ingram's fault either. They straight up gave up way too much in front of their own net. Way too much. And we've seen it, a number of games in a row here. I'm just shocked that there's the usual chittering on the goaltenders, the people that had been for months and months and months crying for new goalies. You have new goalies, and then it's like, wait, that didn't fix all our other issues. And there's still some things going on here. And when they clean them up, Tommy, they're a really good hockey team. The Edmonton Oilers are. But when they struggle with it, they struggle with it.
780-218-9999. There's been texts as well, Cass, about the Oilers at home. Like they've gotten their asses kicked at home a few times this year. Now this wasn't as bad as like that Colorado game or the Dallas one, but this was a pretty thorough beatdown after the Oilers had established the lead twice. It was the Wild coming storming back. Couple goals off of faceoffs. Yes, Jarry had a tough night. What do you think it is about at home where the Oilers, when they get beat, sometimes are prone to get an absolute whooping laid on them?
I don't know. Maybe they're just like, I've had enough. Let me go home. I just gotta go sleep in my own bed, have some dinner and just have a good pillow and a good cry at home. I don't know. It's weird that it does seem to happen at home though, because this hasn't happened as much on the road. I don't know why that is. Like it's kind of a coincidence, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
All right, let's dive into the inbox. 780-218-9999. Let's get to this one here from Troll, who says, sure glad I didn't watch that crap show. I'm also glad they didn't draft Wallstead. Who would want a good young goalie like that? And yes, I know he would suck behind this clown show of a defense as well. Also, am I the only one who thinks it's douchey for the fake 97 to wear that number? I don't care that it is his birth year. That number belongs to Connor. It's like someone wearing 99 or 66. I don't know about that. Kaprizov's one of the best, Cass. And didn't Wilf Paymont also wear number 99?
Kaprizov's really good. I mean, really whatever.
Like, I'm not that worried about that.
No.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Wallstead, we're not going to revisit that. They weren't drafting him. They wanted Kosa that year. And yes, they traded down. And yes, they took Bourgault. And no, he did not amount to much. Did play his first game in the NHL with Ottawa earlier this season. This one from SJ Not in the Coot, and he says, I don't care what anyone says. It's excellent coaching to have 29 out there at the end, down 4, because he's a good 3-point shooter. BDA Boys says, boys, to be embarrassed in a measuring stick game like this is unacceptable. The team, and more importantly, the management team, has a lot of work to do if they want to compete this spring. Note, Minnesota had contributions up and down the lineup. Depth wins games, in particular in the playoffs. I mean, if you compare the Oilers lineup to the Wild lineup, Kaprizov, Hartman, Zuccarello, veterans. Superstar in Kaprizov. As much of a rat as he is, Ryan Hartman is a skilled player, and Matt Zuccarello has been a star in the NHL for a long time. Marcus Johansson, Joel Eriksson, and Eck, and Matt Boldy. Big, strong, skilled. Yakov Trenin, Danila Yurov, and Vladimir Tarasenko. Tarasenko was a superstar for a while. Displayed his scoring ability on that goal he scored tonight on Tristan Jarry. Don't know much about Yurov. Trenin's been a big tank in the NHL, both for Minnesota and prior to that with the Nashville Predators. And oh, by the way, look at this fourth line cast. Foligno, Marcus, Nico Sturm, and Vinny Hinostroza. Big boys,
yeah.
Guys who have been around the league for a while and know how to play the right way. That's depth. On defense, stacked. Hughes and Faber, Middleton and Spurgeon, Damon Hunt and David Urachek are the third pairing. And you go, all right, Damon Hunt, not too sure about that. David Urachek, a lot of upside, high draft pick. Minnesota went out and got him. This is a damn good team.
Yeah.
Pretty much top to bottom.
Yep.
And we've been talking for weeks and months about the Oilers and their lack of depth and where the hell is Trent Frederick and what does Matthias Janmark do offensively. And now you got a third line with Savoy, who's a rookie, Szymanski, who's playing his third or fourth NHL game, Roslovic, whose game has been up and down. And you go, there's a difference. There's a difference. And it was quite evident tonight.
Yeah. No, one of the things that Minnesota does well is, or they've done well, is they punch in a couple different ways as you went through that, particularly in that forward group. Like they have smaller, quick, skilled players. They have bigger, heavier, strong players that play on big, heavy, strong lines. Like there's different ways that they try to beat you. They have some veteran savvy. They have some older skilled guys. And I mean, you didn't even mention Jonas Brodin on defense as well.
He's up,
yeah. I mean, you could
other guy.
You could throw Hunt. Well, he played 13 minutes, but it's like Yeah, okay. You take Hunt out of the lineup and you slide in Brodeen. Like that decor is looking pretty stacked as well. They are a very, very good team. Edmonton, you still have your wild card in so many situations. I didn't say wild card on purpose, but it just came out and it ends up being the Minnesota Wild tonight. But that's okay. Is McDavid and Draisaitl. But the reality is those guys aren't going to be able to generate or create if you're just giving up grade A chances over and over and over and over and over in front of your net. And they did tonight. Like it was, I don't want to say it was, well, no, actually I do. I do want to say it was ugly. I do want to say it was ugly because it was ugly in front of their own net. The amount of slop they left hanging there, the amount of open space that players like Matt Boldy had in front of the net. And Boldy isn't even a guy that scored tonight, but all of a sudden the puck's on his stick and he's looking at a golden opportunity up in front of there. Like it's unacceptable. And to point back to the goaltending, one of the things that's going to be challenging here, and this is, and don't take me because I'm not throwing shade at Spencer Stastny. He's improving and he's done some good things. Emberson has been improving and done some good things the last couple of weeks. But you're missing Kulak. That's one of the bottom lines is you're missing Kulak.
Yes.
And you have to find a way, if you're Bowman, to replace that. And that's a tall order right now with what's out there. And then you still would like to find Szymanski again, gets an assist tonight, which was great, and he's been okay. But you probably want to wait a year for him still. So it's like you still got that third line center that you're looking for. You still got the top four defensemen, particularly on that right side, that you're going to be looking for. Wallman's been okay. Like there's pieces. There's still pieces missing. They're not as ready. It looks like apparently not as ready as the Minnesota Wild.
This loss. Like a lot of people are disappointed, dejected, pissed off. I'm seeing it, a lot of emotion on a Saturday night where you're hoping for the best against a Wild team that is one of the best. How dejected do you think the Oilers should be after a loss like tonight? Because, reading the tea leaves from the fans, there's a lot of frustration. I don't know if alarm bells are going off or what for the fan. I don't know what the fan base expected tonight, honestly. This was going to be a tough test. And the Oilers came out well, got the lead, lost it, got the lead again, lost it, and then the Wild just took over. But Should there be alarm bells, or should this just be taken as a lesson and a reminder? Like, hey, we're not there yet. For crying out loud, it's, what are we, today was game number 56, and they just had their first winning streak of the year, too.
The first winning streak of the year, too. I would love to say that, okay, whatever. And it was just, they just didn't show up well enough in a measuring stick game. But it's not even losing the game that bothers me. It's losing at 7-3. And it's, going back to Pittsburgh, it's giving up 6 goals, giving up 5 goals, giving up 4 goals, giving up 3 goals, and now giving up 7. Like, you got to go back to the loss against Jersey where you only gave up 2.
Right.
And then, yes, you had a couple good games in a row there where you played some good defense against the Islanders that you lost, and Canucks, which you just dominated, and St. Louis, which you also just dominated. But it's like this was the first game in a while where you've had a real test as a team, or really the first game since Pittsburgh, since you've had a good test as a team where a team that's playing well, you're up against, and you fell dramatically short. So I don't know if you want to call it hopefully a wake-up call or what, but I mean, it just seemed apparent that they aren't in the same category as Minnesota yet. They're not, and that's concerning, right? It has to be concerning.
All right, I'm going to dip it to the nasty chat just to give people a sense of kind of what is being said from the fan base. Ted Mouse says we could still have had Wall said they weren't going to draft him. They wanted Kosa. It didn't happen. Then they traded down. They We're not going to go over that again. He wasn't the guy that they wanted. Garrett says 0-6 against the top 3 teams in the Central Division is alarming and a problem. I think it tells you where you're at compared to the best in the NHL. Banksy saying Oilers are pretenders, big time. Pizza Boy says they showed up to a measuring stick game with a keychain measuring tape. And then 83 runner, C-Run, I think that is, says Oilers should have been able to give Wild a game, but in a best of 7, are you betting the over on a 4-game series currently? We'll see. Cass, pardon me. One thing that has popped up, and I think you and I have talked about it at times this season, and Banksy is bringing this up as well, said Knobloch is not the answer either. That chorus at times this year has grown. And after losses like this, like, is it really Chris Knobloch? Like, what else could
I'll
Chris
I'll
Knobloch
tell you
have done?
why. I'll tell you why, Tom. Well,
Please do.
first, a couple things about the Oilers being pretenders. Tommy, they went to the Stanley Cup final 2 years in a row.
That's right.
Not pretenders, right? Like, they've knocked off some really good teams along the way. Not pretenders. Now, this year, have they struggled? Yes.
Yes.
Have there been some missteps? Yes.
Absolutely.
Are they pretenders? Well, no. They just went to 2 back-to-back Stanley Cup finals, which tells you there's been something there. The Knobloch, and I think the reason that we're starting to hear more of that is because the perennial outrage when things go wrong needs to be directed somewhere. It needs to go somewhere. And Stuart Skinner got traded. And Frederick is actually playing decent on the 4th line. And even if he wasn't, he's not playing enough minutes to be the guy that you get to blame.
No.
So people are looking for something to blame. And I think that's it's just coaching now. It's just coaching. Now, I think it would be more fair to look at management and say, hey, there was and have been missteps. You want to say that? Absolutely. I think that's a fair criticism. But to sit and say that this is coaching, and the reason that Minnesota just spanked them was coaching, like, show me what coaching, what strategy, what system, what game plan was implemented that caused Minnesota to absolutely pump them tonight, 7-3. Was it the forecheck? Was it the defensive zone coverage? Now, you could maybe say, okay, well, the defensive zone coverage, but you can't tell me the coaching staff was like, hey, let's just leave a guy wide open in the slot. Let's do that. That's what we want to do. That's the game plan. You go, just leave the guys, if they're in the slot, just leave them. Just skate away from them, leave them. Just let them get the puck there. Just abandon the middle of the ice. Like, you want to tell me that that's what they did? That's not what the coaching staff is asking them to do.
Right.
That's not the game plan. So to hold people accountable. Well, all right. You're going to sit McDavid and Draisaitl? Who else? Who are you going to hold accountable? You're going to sit Wallman? You're going to sit Nurse? You're going to sit Bouchard? Like, you're going to sit Ekholm? Like, in what? So you can't tell me that coaching is the issue. You can't tell me coaching is the issue. No, it's not. Goaltending coach. Tommy let in a lot of goals. It's Aubrey. It's Aubrey. That Aubrey guy. He hasn't had his event as a candidate yet as a goaltending coach. He's had, there's been like 4 goalies he's had this year. He's had 4 goalies this year. Can't get one right yet. It's the coaching. Give me a break. It's not the coaching. It's execution. If you want to say, hey, personnel, and they haven't brought from a defensive standpoint the guys in that they need, that I can deal with that. I could say, yeah, you could be right. Could very well be right. And would agree with you with some of the decisions being not the right decisions or not ones that I would have liked to see made. But you can't tell me it's coaching. No.
I like that you bring up goalie coach. That made me smirk because I saw Freddie Chabot tonight. He's a goalie coach with the Wild, former Oilers goalie coach. He was a scapegoat during the Dallas Eakins era when things were starting to unravel. Not that they were ever good, but when when the heat was really on, they got rid of Freddie Chabot first. He kind of took the first bullet. And Freddie's only been with the Wild for like the last decade. And he's had all-star caliber goaltenders. He had Marc-Andre Fleury for a bit, who, by the way, practiced with the Wild the other day. I saw that. He had to fill in. He's got a good young one in Wallstedt, and he's managed to help Philip Gustafsson turn into an all-star caliber goaltender. So when you said it's, Peter Aubrey, I know you said it facetiously.
Oh, completely.
But it makes me think of, hey, the last couple of years, it's Dustin Schwartz. It's Dustin Schwartz.
Yep.
Okay, new goalie coach. Hey, Stu Skinner's not good enough. Calvin Pickard ain't it. Both guys. The Oilers did a Colorado Avalanche.
Yep.
And you and I were saying that's going to be tough to do. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off. They did it. And now people are going, boy, that was not a good trade for Jarry.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's it. And they love Ingram. I called him a bit of a people's champ right now. He's played well. Can't fault him. I'm not putting anything on him tonight. Had to mop up a crappy situation. Now, finally, they're seeing the lack of ability defensively. But there's still some that are saying this coach can't do it. This coach ain't it. It's the personnel.
Yep. Well, you had Woodcroft, you had Knobloch, right? You've had multiple coaches that have gone through it.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. It's not.
Okay. I'm going to go to gray-haired teacher on this one. Couple of texts. I'm going to stack them up here. Question. Do the players know that they are horrible defensively? Like, shouldn't that drive 97 crazy? Or I truly am wondering how the players don't work harder on team defense. Seems like they just don't give a crap. Cass, what would you tell gray-haired teacher?
Well, I don't think it's a matter of not wanting to work hard. I don't think anyone on this team is out there being like, I'm going to be lazy today. I'm just not going to try. Yeah, just going to kind of go out and give it 50% of an effort tonight. I don't think that that's the case at all. I don't necessarily have an answer for why it is that case. Now, for some of it, we could go, okay, well, Ekholm, a lot is being asked of him, and he may be half a step slower than he has been in years past physically. Just time has worn on his body a little bit. Wallman, is he a guy that is going to give you consistently very stable defensive minutes? Maybe some nights.
The answer is no.
But no. Bouchard is one of the best offensive defensemen in the world.
Absolutely.
But he's not one of the best defensive defensemen in the world. In big games, he does show up. Absolutely give him that. But over the course of the regular season, generally, there's going to be mistakes and there's going to be moments. Now, I don't even think Bouchard was bad tonight. I don't think it was necessarily all on him. But how do you improve your defense? It's like, are you just going to yell at the guys to just stand in the middle in front of the net? Like, are you just like, there's just the solutions for people are just, change the coaching. The second that it gets to, change the coaching for me, I know we're in trouble. And again, because people are just looking for a scapegoat. And I think,
what kind of trouble? Okay. Yeah. Okay. I was going to say, what kind of trouble?
Like you're grasping at straws for trying to figure out what's wrong. Again, like we've seen this group in the past, when they do lock it down, they can lock it down, and we've seen them do it. And that's the challenging part, is it's feast or famine in some ways with this group. Mm-hmm. And I don't think there's a good answer. I don't think it's laziness. I don't know why mentally some of the execution, just like you said, Tom, well, why is it at home that they get blown out? And it's like, I don't know. And why is it some games or some stretches, all of a sudden the defensive side of the game and protecting the front of the net well just disappears? I don't know. But for whatever reason, this group, they just fall apart that way. and it's not something you want to see continue. The good news is you're still in a playoff spot. There's still season left, and we're not across the trade deadline, so stuff can still happen.
Right. All right, 780-218-9999. The Oilers fall 7-3 to the Minnesota Wild. Tom Gazzola, Matt Kassian with you, our game analyst. Shoot us a text, 780-218-9999. Like I said, a lot of people very unhappy with tonight's result and how the Oilers got there. Let's go into the inbox to Andy Pandy. Says, please get rid of Bowman before he does more damage. Weakest group in 5 years. The D needs serious reconstructive surgery, and a number of forwards don't have the right mentality towards defending properly. Andy Pandy. And Cass, I know and understand where Andy Pandy and other fans of this team are coming from. I understand. I've had some concerns about the moves Stan Bowman, Jeff Jackson have made. I've said to people, I'm getting a bit of a Peter Chiarelli feel when things were starting to go squirrely. Now it hasn't gone squirrely. This team is a lot more mature, and the big guns can gloss over a lot of the underlying issues. And I hope it doesn't get to that point. And I don't think it will. Is this the weakest group in 5 years? Perhaps. I mean, let's look at the last few years. Conference final. Get beaten 4 straight by Colorado. Lose in the second round to the eventual Cup champions from the Vegas Golden Knights. Go to the Cup final twice. Losing 7, losing 6. Yeah. Yeah, if we're looking at this team right now, it is the weakest in 5 years. Andy Pandy's right. Can they still do damage? Can they get hot? Can they maybe make a trade or two? The right trade? Maybe not the sexiest trade, but the right trade, bring in a guy or two, and it sets them up in a great spot, and they go off a ramp and just take off? Perhaps. Do I think that's going to happen? Unlikely. But Andy Pandy's right. Like, personnel-wise, team-wise, I feel like this is the step back year.
Yeah.
And it's hard to swallow because you're in the McDavid window and he only signed a 2-year extension and you're not sure how long this lasts. And these guys are getting older. So I get it. But I still stand by them being shot out of a cannon next year after potentially a short spring and maybe being a cup winner or at least back in the final the next year or two.
Yeah.
Not this year. This is just how I look at it. But Andy Pandy's right. Weakest team in 5 years, and it's still a playoff team that might win the division, Cass. How do you look at it?
Yep. No, I think it's fair to say that it might be. And part of that is the shortened season. I mean, look at Florida this year, who, yes, has had to deal with more injuries, but is what, 6, 7, 8 points now out of a playoff spot? Like they most likely are not going to make the playoffs after winning the cup in back-to-back years. And that's 3 years in a row, 3 years in a row for them, being in the Stanley Cup final, winning 2 of them. They're probably not going to make the playoffs this year. Like it is difficult to do it year after year after year. And the Oilers have been sniffing the last 2. They had some really strong years, and this could be a little bit of a step back year. Now, part of that too is when you're looking at the roster and when you're looking at your players, you do have young guys that you want to continue to grow and you want to continue to take those steps forward. And, an extra year, they get much, much better. And you could be, as you said, Tommy, with a little bit more rest, with a little bit more ability to work out, to gain strength, to recover your body, to train properly for an extra month and a half, that could benefit them greatly. Now, that's assuming that they're out early. I don't know that will be the case, because they still could win the division, still could go to the Western Conference Final very, very easily. And not past the trade deadline, Tom. So we don't know exactly what the team looks like still. Like, there's still some moves that could be made, some changes that could happen. And you still have McDavid and Draisaitl.
That's right.
So that's the hey, anything could happen, right? If they get hot, if they play well, if they put up points, and if Evan Bouchard plays like he has in the playoffs in the past, you still could go deep. You still got a shot.
Okay, Cass. They wrap up this 8-game homestand on Tuesday against the Maple Leafs. Then they conclude the schedule up until the Olympic break on Wednesday in Calgary. We could be having a completely different conversation on Tuesday night if they win against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So let's take a quick peek ahead. What do you expect from the Oilers as they get set for the Maple Leafs Tuesday night?
Well, they're going to be watching a lot of video on Austin Matthews, because Austin Matthews is the greatest player that has ever lived. And if you're playing the Toronto Maple Leafs, every player is going to, like, I think what they're going to do is they're going to assign each player one of the games that Matthews has played this year. And each player is going to have to go through every single shift of Austin Matthews and come up with the 5-point plan that they have to stop Austin Matthews from single-handedly defeating them. It's most likely what's going to happen. Now, the alternative is you do have a couple days, so you're going to get a little bit of rest, and you still have to find a way to not suck so bad in the own end. So when you do have that practice on Monday, it should be a fuller practice. Please, 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 let's go over the defensive zone again. Please, 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 let's talk about protecting the house, so the middle of the ice, and not just having sticks to the outside, not just abandoning the area, but ensuring that we're stick on puck, we're finding bodies, and we're taking away chances, because they just haven't done that enough.
Well said, Cass. Very well said. Please, please, please have a great night. Enjoy your Sunday, and I look forward to talking to you next week.
Thank you, guys. Sounds good.
There's our game analyst, Matt Kassian, putting in a good shift tonight. He was on the ice with his girls coaching ringette earlier in the day, and then fantastic work from Cass on the pre- and post-game show. It is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola coming at you. We've got Reid Wilkins standing by. He's going to have Reid's Read, brought to you by Ewell. I'm going to get to the Advantage Sport Medicine and physiotherapy turning point of the game. Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists. You have a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today. www.advantagesportmed.ca or call 780-460-9977. There's going to be a couple of notes here on this one. So the Oilers had the 2-1 lead. It's late in the period in the first, and under a minute left. The Oilers are on a PK, and Kirill Kaprizov scores. They lose the draw in their zone, and the Wild work it around, and then Kaprizov kind of tucks in behind Spencer Stastny, and the puck gets funneled to the net, and Joel Eriksson-Ek finds it. I think it goes through Stastny, and Kaprizov's there to bang it in. So that power play goal tied it in the last minute of the first period. Then in the first minute of the second period, this is where things started to heat up, and you could see the Wild were starting to turn the momentum in the tide. Just 35 seconds in, Matt Zuccarello off a face-off. There were a couple goals that were directly off of face-off. Zuccarello, bang, bang, from the Hartman face-off win, his 9th of the year, 35 seconds in. Those two goals, the one late in the first and the one early in the second, propelled the Minnesota Wild to the victory tonight. So that is your Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy turning point of the game. That last minute of the first minute of the second, and away the Wild went, took over and won it en route to a 7-3 victory. All right. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. Nasty Chat is doing its thing. Oilers fall 7-3. Let's get Reid Wilkins in here for Reid's Read, brought to you by Ewell, your power play specialist. Ewell has the gear you need for your next electrical project with 3 Edmonton area locations, and you can order online anytime at ewell.ca. Ewell, your Edmonton-based partner in power and source for all things electrical. Welcome back to the program, Reidrick. Great to see you. We went over a bunch of stuff. You and I are going to probably cover some things that Cass and I discussed as well, but we don't have the capability to run clips tonight because we are producing live on location from the Shamrock Curling Club. You told me some interesting stuff from the post game tonight. What can you tell our listeners and viewers?
Well, it was really interesting listening to Tristan Jarry. I didn't have time to go back and re-listen to the whole thing, But I mean, the first answer he was asked about, a lot of goals in this game and how do you feel about your own game? And he said, just kind of jotted some things down. It's tough. With the chances that we're giving up, it's tough. This is not a direct quote, but sort of paraphrasing. He said a lot of grade A chances and a lot of breakdowns. I've already noticed that with Jarry and other availabilities he's very willing to talk about the play of the team in front of him, perhaps more so than other goaltenders we've seen here. Mm-hmm. So, okay, that's one thing, which is fine. I mean, there were breakdowns and there were grade A chances. I mean, you shouldn't give up a breakaway splitting the defense, even if you're shorthanded, like stuff like that. And then he was asked, later on about something else, and he said, the fourth goal goes off a defenseman off the backboards. It's a bad bounce. I would disagree with that.
That's a bad one.
Like
him.
3 goals in the second period. What's one of my favorite sayings, Tom? One of the Wilkie cliches. There's a reason they're called saves. They're difficult chances that have to be stopped, or funny chances or funny bounces that have to be stopped. I mean, 3 goals in the second period. Like you need one of those stopped. And yes, at times he made some other good saves. But I mean, this was a tough start for Jarry. I mean, this was a goaltender that looked very much like a lateral move from Stuart Skinner, given how he played as an Edmonton Oiler. Mm-hmm. Connor Ingram, to me, has clearly been the Oilers' best goaltender this season. Yes, it's limited playing time, but I think we're up to 11 or 12 appearances now. And it was interesting hearing Jarry really talk more about the team play in front of him than his own play when it is his availability. Now, I just offer that as what I heard. I do not think he's trying to throw anybody under the bus. I do not think he's trying to take away responsibility. I don't want to start anything like that, but interesting that that's where he went with it. Chris Knobloch had one of those nights where we've seen maybe 4 times in 2+ years as the coach where he seemed agitated and upset. He came out with the tie off already and seemed like he just wanted to get going. I asked the first question. Generally, it was 2-2. Where do you feel the tide turned in the second period? And he made a good point. He thought the tide turned in the first period with 3 offensive zone penalties. And that's a good point. I mean, you can't take those penalties. You can't keep giving the other team that many opportunities, especially in the offensive zone. He said he didn't feel like they give up a lot of tough chances against, but they give up quality chances against. So that's hurting them. He was asked some stuff about the goaltender as well. Somebody asked him, do you need to have a guy now, or can you keep going back and forth? And he basically said, we can keep going back and forth. And he kind of said he didn't, I'd have to go back and listen to it, but he didn't say Jarry was bad, but he kind of said, yeah, we'd like a save on something in the second period. But I thought Jarry's comments were interesting because I didn't think any of the 3 goals he allowed in the second period were on grade A chances. Like if a guy's facing a total of 11 2-on-1s and breakaways and gives up 4 or 5 goals and he wants to say, well, holy crap, we gave up a lot of grade A chances. You know what? That's fine. That's fine. When he's beaten on a wrist shot, glove side off a face-off, when he's beaten off, I don't know if the Tarasenko shot was a grade A chance and the Hughes chance certainly wasn't. So this is the same thing we were talking about with Skinner. Like they can't all go in. Like stuff will go in. But they can't all go in where you're like, my God, just stop one of them. So that's tough. Now having said that, the Oilers are 0-6 against Dallas, Colorado, and Minnesota. They have lost to Minnesota 1-0, 5-2, and 7-3. They lost 9-1 to Colorado. Still have to play them twice. They have a game remaining against Dallas. They've lost 4-3 and 8-3. So they have 2 1-goal losses to the powerhouse teams. The other 4 losses were by 3 goals or more. They're not in the class of these other 3 teams. This is not a one-off. You can't say this is a one-off anymore. I mean, thrice they've been throttled on home ice 9-1, 8-3, and 7-3 tonight. And like this was the closest of those games. They lost 7-3. They're not quick enough. They don't have the depth. And they clearly they didn't have the better goaltender tonight. I don't know if that was a huge factor in all of the other games. So yeah, I mean it's really. But Cass said it. The Pacific Division is winnable.
Yes,
and we don't know what the roster is going to be in the trade deadline. But to me, it looks more and more like the Pacific Division winner is the sacrificial lamb in the Western Conference Final. Quite frankly, even if it's Vegas.
You know what, man? That's kind of like how it was the year Vegas won the Cup. Remember we were saying Oilers and Vegas, that's the eventual Cup winner? Now it's like the Central Division is the juggernaut, and then the Pacific is the guppy. So the tides have turned a little bit, for lack of a better term. All right, it's Reid's Read, brought to you by Ewell. Text us 780-218-9999. Jump into the nasty chat. Alarm bells, it feels like, reading the nasty chat, reading texts, are being rung, Reid. And I'm kind of like, tap the brakes on those. Like you outlined, this is a juggernaut team, one of the best in the NHL. And the Oilers have gotten their butts whipped by some of the best in the NHL. And like you said, they're not in that same class. There's work to be done. There's a lot of room for improvement. What do you think is the appropriate way to analyze tonight's loss, given who the Oilers played?
Well, they're not in that category. I mean, they're flat out not good enough.
But would you be panicking? I suppose is how I should.
Well, I wouldn't panic, but I mean, it's just a fact they're not good enough. I would never personally panic about it.
Well,
I mean, if an individual fan wants to panic about them getting shit kicked by Minnesota, then fine, panic. But I mean, they're clearly not good enough. I mean, I don't know what else to tell people. If that panics you, then I'm sorry for panicking you. I've seen it's 2/3 of the way through the season. 9-1, 8-3, 7-3. Like what else can I say? Plus 3 other losses to these powerhouse teams. They are not on that level.
Right. So should fans be surprised then? I think the answer is no, but we still get some surprise and some hurt from the fans. You've done this. You've done the post-game show for years and years and years. You know how the fan base reacts. Should they be surprised? Probably not. I think it's a little sad that the gap is this wide. Like it's not like they're 0-6 with 6 3-2 losses, and you can say, well, maybe it's coming. Like they're outclassed. They're not fast enough. There's actually been a little more life from the bottom 6 on this homestand. Still not good enough. Goaltending still a question mark, quite frankly. So it's discouraging. Is it surprising? Not at this point, because like we've been saying, this is the team. This is the team. The high-end guys can be spectacular, and they made some spectacular plays tonight and had some spectacular chances. And they still hit the post a couple times right after Roslovic made it 6-3. Can you imagine if they would have made it 6-5? So, but there's clear, like they're not a bad team. I mean, anybody who says they're like a bad garbage team, like settle down. But they're not as good as the last 2 years. As you and I have said to each other, this is the worst team they've had since 2021. This is the worst team the Oilers have had since 2021. So. Yeah, I mean, like there's going to be a gap. It would be hard to imagine them beating Minnesota 4 times in 7 games. Same with Colorado, clearly, and same with Dallas. Seattle, San Jose, even Vegas. Yeah, I could imagine the Oilers beating them 4 times in 7 games and maybe winning playoff series. But I just think, like, if I mean, I don't know. Like if I can't, the one thing, like I can't control how the fans feel. No.
Am I personally surprised they're not as good as Minnesota? No. Is it tough that the gap is this wide over and over again against the 3 different teams in the Central? Yeah, that's tough because you'd like to think that they could play a style of game that it could at least keep the game under control. And they can't do that. Minnesota's good. They beat themselves with the penalties. I think that's a good point by Knobloch. And then they just can't lock it down and control it. And I heard the people criticizing you were referencing people criticizing Knobloch when I was driving home. This is my personal criticism of Knobloch, and I've brought this up before. And this is not me putting him on the firing line or trying to run him out or anything. This is just my observation. Because quite frankly, I don't worry so much about the ice time. I don't worry so much about the first power play unit getting 2 minutes all the time because they should. Okay. You don't take Barry Sanders out of the game to give him a rest. You hand it off to him 30 times.
Yes.
But this is my criticism of Knobloch. He talks very much about confidence and feeling good and going out there and making a play and trusting your instinct. And then he says, well, we give up too many grade A chances. Like, does he talk concretely enough about how they need to play in their own end? Now, it does. Maybe he does behind the scenes. This, this is publicly is maybe different than what he says behind the scenes.
Good point.
But I know most teams do this. This is the way of the modern NHL with the skill and the no red line. I mean, there was a point in the game today. There was a scramble in front of the Oilers' net, and one of the Oilers' forwards was in the neutral zone because they're taught you got to push the pace, you got to spring the guy. This is a far cry from who was it? It might have been somebody told me this story. It was a guy. It might have been Ken Morrow. I can't remember. Got traded from the Islanders to the Sabres after the Islanders had won 4 cups in a row, and the Sabres were kind of bad in the early to mid 80s. And this guy plays his first period with the Sabres, and they go into the dressing room after the first period, and he stands up and says, I don't know what it's been like around here, but where I come from, nobody leaves the defensive zone until the puck does. And then he sits down. As opposed to the modern NHL and how the Oilers play, where it's like as soon as you even think you might get the puck, have 2 guys streaming for a stretch pass. Like, what if the Oilers just said, nobody leaves the zone until we have the puck? Nobody. Everybody's locked in. I don't know. Would it matter? I don't know.
Any positives tonight as we start to wind down Reid's Read, brought to you by Ewell?
Szymanski got a point.
I'm liking him.
Yeah, he might be okay.
Yeah. Actually, I will say this. Roslovic gets on the board. That's good. I know it was in garbage time, but it was good. Szymanski saw some stuff there. And then actually that line with Savoy, Szymanski, and Roslovic, I thought had some good moments. They put together a few good shifts. So, yes.
Well, but I mean, they got to finish. And here's the interesting thing about the Minnesota Wild. Like, the Minnesota Wild don't have they don't have a number one center. They don't. Like, Hartman's not a number one center, I don't think.
He shouldn't be.
And Eric Sinek is a very good all-around player, but he's like, they could still make their team even better here if they go out and get an even higher end offensive guy to center the number one line. Mm-hmm. And by the way, Brodin didn't play tonight, right? So
Brodin and Bogosian on IR for the Wild. So yeah.
No, they're good. Like those 3 teams, I think Colorado's actually had a slump. Aren't they 500 in their last 10 or 5-4-2 in their last 11 or something? But they're good. The Oilers aren't on par with them. I don't think anybody in their own division is. I don't think, even Vegas. I don't think Vegas is. So they're going to be. I mean, the hope for the Pacific Division is that they just beat the crap out of each other just to win the Central.
Yes,
that's pretty much the hope, I think.
See what happens. A lot of hockey left to be played, moves to be made, but we'll see what the Oilers can do. up against it cap-wise. Still waiting to get rid of Andrew Mangiapane. Who knows what happens with Adam Henrique, and Trent Frederick continues to, although like you said, and Matt Kassian said too, small signs and steps in the right direction. Reid, Rick, this is always a pleasure. Enjoy your Sunday, my friend, and I will see you on Monday.
All right. Thanks for having me, Tom. See you.
Okay. Bye, Reid. That's Reid's Reid, brought to you by Ewell. Good stuff from him. Ewell, your Edmonton-based partner in power and source for all things electrical. Visit them, ewell.ca. All right, let's get to the Damon Bunting Real Estate Player of the Game. Damon Bunting has been a consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 18 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Check him out, damonbunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. I'm going to do the honors of the Damon Bunting Real Estate Player of the Game. And tonight I'm going to break Benny's rule of thumb, because usually this is Benny's thing on the post-game show. But the boy is celebrating his 23rd birthday today. Hopefully he's mixing in a water. I'm going to go with Quinn Hughes. He will be the Damon Bunting Real Estate Player of the Game. A goal and an assist, +4 on the night, played 25-14. I thought he made some great plays, scored that goal where he banked it in off of Tristan Jarry. That's good heads-up play, just getting it on net, recognizing maybe Jarry not getting into position as quickly or as tightly as you would want, and then found a way to bank it in off of Jarry, off the carom, off the back wall. Hughes was dancing around the ice all night. 3 shots, 1 block shot with 3 giveaways. So Quinn Hughes is your Damon Bunting Real Estate Player of the Game. Coob, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm hanging out here, Tommy.
All right, put yourself back on if you can. I want to hear it. Sounds like there's still people at the Shamrock.
Oh, it's still a busy time here for sure.
Yeah, give us an idea of how things have gone tonight.
Oh, man, it went smooth. Maddie, once again, just COO of Edmonton Sports Talk, of course, putting the whole event together, the brains of the operation, doing an amazing job to get this set. Gavin and everyone at the Shamrock doing an amazing job keeping us fed. Well, not fed. Well, fed liquid, I guess you could say, and we had a great meal as well. Seemed like everyone enjoyed it. Nothing really went wrong. I had a good time myself. It was smooth. It was just an amazing event once again, and 2 for 2 for the EST Fun Spiel here at the Shamrock for sure.
Was that just our second, or was it our third?
I think it was just the second. Last year was the inaugural, from what I remember.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so that was our second. Mm-hmm. I've done a couple. You know what? I've done a couple Oiler alumni bonspiels at the Shamrock, and I might be cross-moginating those with the fun spiel.
As Austin Powers once said, yeah.
Thank you for catching that reference. That's what Zach to the Future will do for you. So, Coop, great work filling in tonight. Appreciate you doing that, buddy. Go have yourself another brewski and enjoy the rest of your weekend. All right.
Yeah, you too, Tommy. Yeah, great show, and I enjoyed it. I don't know. I was hanging out here, and I was like, I don't really have much to add. I was enjoying the festivities, I guess, at the Shamrock here, but I caught as much as of the game as we could here. Big Uke got pretty excited a couple times in the game, but it was a great time all around. Appreciate it, Tom.
Yeah, it's busy when you got a lot of the nasties around, so we wanted to make it as simple and straightforward as possible. Good job tonight, Coop. Thank you for stepping in for Benny. Thank you to Hernan Salas for filling in for Benny on the pregame show as well. Okay, Joaquin Gage will be tending the twine between the pipes tomorrow at the Oilers skills competition. He's got his old mask ready to go. I'm looking forward to seeing him at the rink, and I'll try to get some video for everybody. Tomorrow should be a fun day at the rink, despite a tough night against the Minnesota Wild, where the Oilers fell 7-3. Humbled, kind of put in their place, if you will, by the Wild, one of the contenders right now in the National Hockey League. The Oilers kind of a step below. You heard Reid, you heard Cass talking about it, and I think a lot of people that texted in tonight, whether it was via the Nasty Chat or the inbox, kind of feeling the same way. Whether you think it's coaching, whether you think it's goaltending, whether you think it's team defense, right now, I think it all comes back to the Oilers just don't have that same level as the Colorados, the Minnesotas, the Dallases, for crying out loud, the Carolinas, and right now the Detroit Red Wings. So they could certainly find that It's going to take a lot of doing, but we'll see what happens. The Oilers get the Maple Leafs on Tuesday to conclude this 8-game homestand. A win against them would make a lot of people forget about this night. And then if you follow it up with another win against the Calgary Flames before the Olympic break, on Wednesday, then Oil Country goes into a couple of weeks of an NHL break pretty darn happy. But the weekend is not spoiled. The kids are going to have a great time tomorrow at the skills competition. And the Oilers will have to dust themselves off and regroup when they take on the Leafs on Tuesday. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Big thank you to everybody who watched. Big thank you to everybody who listened. iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, of course, EvertonSportsTalk.com's audio player. YouTube, hit the thumbs up despite the result tonight. We always appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. We try to get everybody to subscribe as we reach 14,000 subscriptions. Enjoy Sunday. Forget about this one. Put it behind you and make the most of what will be a nice Sunday around town. And we'll get back at it Monday with the Nielsen Show, 6 a.m. The boys will discuss the weekend and look ahead to the last couple of games in Oil Country before the break. For Coop, for Cass, for Reid, I'm Tommy saying thank you once again. Have a great night and enjoy your Sunday. Ciao for now.